Welcome to a brand new show. We're talking craft beer and comic books. We're talking comic books and craft beer. And I am very, very excited for both. We're also talking Spidey Cat, because what is a show on this very network without this young man? He will not be having any beer, but he will be discussing comic books as well, for he is aptly named, and that's his Ben Reilly. He is Matthew McConaughey, the Spidey Cat. I hope you guys are doing well. I think starting now, Fridays, maybe every other Friday, we do this craft beers and comic books dive in. I've got a bunch of ideas for how to shape this show. Once we're out of quarantine, this was a show I wanted to do in the world, so it's going to be a while till that goes down. So I've got some ideas for guests. I want to get people that might not talk about comics that often in as guests. I want to talk to people that are deeply in the world of comics or not in it at all. I want to bring in people and explain the world of comic books and do that over craft beer. So we're going to have that as the guest portion of the show. But this week we had a guest fall out literally 6 hours ago at the very last minute. My guest couldn't make it, and this is someone I've been in quarantine buddy with. So I've seen them. We've both been tested, so it was going to be safe. But now she couldn't make it. So it's going to be a show about June. We're going to talk about all of the June 2020 comics. And that kind of worked out because, to be honest, June 2020 was the first full month back. February was a full month of comics. March got messy. April had practically no comics at all. May was like a halfway getting back. DC had a bunch of new shipping ideas and had to rechange the game. And now June was our first month fully back. So it feels appropriate to launch craft beers and comic books with the very first month of full-blown comic books going at it. Now, it's going to be very tricky because Spidey is very much in the mood for snuggling and attention. And if you can't see him, well, this is my life, and it's hard to get much done because he's the best. But we got to get stuff done. So we're going to be talking about comic books from the month of June. What I'm going to try to do is about 4 or 5 and up to 9 or 10 of my favorite comics each week. For example, the first week of June was a good week. I had like 4 or 5 books I absolutely adored, but this most recent week, this last week of June, is so many incredible comics that I had to extend my own parameters for this very show. Now, the beer portion. I'm very excited to announce that this episode is brought to you in part by TAVOUR. TAVOUR sent me a bunch of craft beers to kick this show off. TAVOUR is an app wherein you describe beers you like or just completely pick the beers that come from all sorts of different independent breweries. Now, I'm a craft beer man. I think that a lot of mainstream beer ruins beer. I think a lot of people think they don't like beer and they don't know beer because they've never had real beer. Fun drinking game for this show. Every time I say beer, drink. Responsibly-ish. That said, I love a good independent brewery. I love real beer. It's something I've never been able to really talk about on any of my shows. It's a part of me I've never been able to share with you, dear audience, and that's why I've wanted to do the show for a very long time. I thought I was going to have to wait till after quarantine, but with StreamYard and with people that I know have been testing negative for COVID, we're going to make it happen currently, and TAVOUR has sent us our first batch of beer. Now, I'm only going to drink probably 3 per episode as I sample through, and they sent me a good batch of beer, so TAVOUR is going to be helping us out for the next few episodes. Now, if you go to the TAVOUR app and type in Coy10, COY10, you get $10 off after you spend $25. So you, using my name, save $10 on beer, which makes me ever so proud as a Bostonian, ever so proud as an Irishman, to give you a discount on beer that I feel like 31 years of working my ass off has finally turned into something because I can save you money on beer, and that feels nice. Spidey, I gotta work. This is gonna break his little heart. He's asleep, sitting up. I don't know if you can see him. That is yep. Oh, son. Okay. I gotta reach over here. All right. And I don't know if you guys follow Mark Riley. Mark Riley has an incredible show wherein he drinks a bottle of wine and discusses that week's news, answers trivia, answers questions, all sorts of things. And he's got a thing where if you send $20, you can contribute to his wine fund. And I was thinking of doing something similar, and certainly no rush because we have a lot of great TAVOUR beer, but if there's a beer you want me to try, if you have a brewery, I've actually talked to a few people that run or work at breweries and they want to send it for me to try. I'm totally down. I'm going to figure out a P.O. box or something like that. But if you want to Streamlabs $20 and tell me a beer, I'll do my best to hunt it down. But in the parentheses, write down what kind of beer it is. And I will do my best to hunt it down. And if I can't, I'll get a beer of that kind. And I'll make it part of the show. And you will be one of the sponsors for that show. And I'll make sure to give you a shout out and all that love, just like Mark Riley does, because I think it's a great idea. And it's a great way to interact with y'all. Now, before we get into the first week of June's comics, this is the first ever beer on Comic Books and Craft Beer. It intrigues me. It fascinates me. I don't know what it could taste like. This is PB Jammin'. Now, PB Jammin' is from the very fine folks. I love this label so much. I'm laughing because it is like, it's just stunning. It's got different, it's got great art for one. As a comic book guy, I appreciate good art, but it's also like the lettering is fantastic and it's really easy to read and it's really clean. So it's coming from 903 Brewery and it is peanut butter, blackberry, strawberry, and raspberry stout. So it is going to be a sweet beer, but also with a nice amount of weight to it with the peanut butter, I imagine. Now this is a beast of a beer. This is 9.9% alcohol. This is damn near 10% alcohol. This beer would have been considered alcohol in Russia 2007 and earlier. Russia did not change their liquor laws until recently. Beer was considered soda and everyone could drink it, and then recently they changed it so beer counted. But before it was 10% and up. This was almost, yeah. So 9.9%. Let's see what this glory is. 903 Brewers, thank you very much. TAVOUR, thank you very much. Cheers to them and cheers to you. All right. It smells like a peanut butter jelly sandwich in the best possible way. It smells like you've been running or working out or doing yard work in the heat all day and you come inside and there's a PB&J waiting for you. Oh. That is a dangerous, dangerous liquid. Okay, so it's got like a full mouth body. I'm not a wine guy, so some of this is going to sound ridiculous, but it's got like a full body taste. The sweet kind of hits the sides of your tongue, and the peanut butter just like wraps around all of it. And like, you can almost taste bread somehow. I guess yeast is in beer more than most things. Yeah, this is decadent. My rating of the PB Jammin' is decadent. This is a decadent beer. Oh, that's nice. Okay, let's dive into the first of the comic books while I enjoy this PB Jammin'. Let's see what we got over here. I too miss draft beer. I see you in the live chat. I miss draft beer, something fierce. But this is infinitely safer. They ship it directly to your house. I just had to sign. I just had to show ID and sign my name, and it was craft beer to my home. It may not be draft beer, but I didn't have to go in public, and it was delivered to me, and it's delicious, so it is the next best thing. Alright, our first batch of comics are going to be from the week of June 3rd. I'm going to kick off this very show with Detective Comics 1022. Now that book is from Peter J. Tomasi and Brad Walker. It is continuing on a Two-Face story. If you're a fan of Two-Face, if you're a fan of Batman using his intelligence and his wits, this is a great place to jump on. I jump on about 2-3 issues earlier at the beginning of the arc. This is wrapping up the arc. But it's Batman using his wits. It's a lot of detective work. I love the use of intelligence with Batman in this book. Brad Walker draws him very angularly, and it reminds me of Neil Adams' stuff. It's a very lithe and intense Batman. Two-Face looks brutal. It is a very solid run on Detective Comics. It is a hard thing to follow James Tynion IV. He was doing Detective Comics and then went on to the main Bat title, Batman. And I was like, how? Who? And Peter J. Tomasi is doing a fantastic job. I'm loving his Two-Face arc. And that was this week. I gave that a very, very good rating. If you guys follow me on Patreon, I rate all my comics, every single book I read. But I wanted to do a show where I actually got to talk about comics. And I never have time in the podcast to talk as much as I want to. And I never have time on the Koi Cubed. So I thought a sister show to Koi Cubed, CB Squared. And now we got comic book time. All right, and Friday night, we're making Wednesday meet Friday. It's great times. And we're going to have guests. I'm excited. Our next book from June 3rd, if you haven't picked it up yet, is Far Sector number 6. Now, Far Sector number 6 is arguably one of the most important comics right now. It is a book about feeling alien, being alien, feeling like an outsider, worrying about emotions, police brutality, being a cop, authoritarian dictators Oh no, 10% alcohol. It's going to be very, very important to look back on, as this book came out in 2020 while all these movements were going on. It's on issue 6, and we had a 3-month gap because of the coronavirus, so this book is way ahead of its time. It feels like it was written for the last 6 weeks, but it was written 8 months ago, the first of them. So this book is from N.K. Jemisin and Jamal Campbell. Jamal Campbell is one of my favorite new artists working, and it follows a Green Lantern beat cop. The Green Lantern Corps have always been the cops of the DC universe. They've always been space cops. I like them when they're in more contained stories, and this is a brand new Green Lantern. Her powers work a little differently, and she's been assigned to one specific planet, and I'm really loving this story. I'm really enjoying the art. It's one of my favorite miniseries in a very long time. DC's actually been doing some of my favorite miniseries between this and Naomi and the little miniature arcs they've been doing in Young Justice. I'm really impressed with what DC's putting out, not to mention all their Bat books as a giant Batman fan, and Strange Adventures, which we're going to talk about here in a minute. So highly recommend that book. I couldn't actually sing its praises higher, and it's only on issue 6, so you got plenty of time to catch up. Our next one is also in issue 6. It's going to be John Constantine Hellblazer, number 6. Now, Hellblazer is a very tricky character to get right. I love the Constantine movie with Keanu Reeves, but it was a Keanu Reeves movie, which is never a bad thing, but it wasn't Hellblazer. It wasn't John Constantine. They did much closer on the show. The CW captured the essence of Constantine more, but you've got budgetary restrictions, you've got legal issues, you've got him appearing and disappearing. I think that guy wants to play Constantine the rest of his life, and I think we should let him, but the character himself's hard to write. So, John Constantine Hellblazer is a book that I feel truly captures the essence of this character, that you can smell the art, you can breathe the language. This whole book just feels gritty and grimy and gross, and he's dealing with demons. It's not a pleasant world, and you feel like you're right there with him. You can almost smell this comic book, and that is a gross compliment, but a compliment nonetheless. It is from Simon Spurrier and Aaron Campbell. It's my favorite run of Hellblazer the last 5 years. It's my favorite modern run of Hellblazer, only on issue 6. The first arc, 1 through 5, I enjoyed more than this issue, but it's only the first one of the new arc. So 1 through 5 is one complete arc. 6 seems to launch into a new arc. The first one of this arc didn't capture me as much, but it still made my top 5 of the week. That's how good this book is. So do check out Hellblazer. And my final pull for the must-reads of the week is a solo issue amongst the Shazam titles. Shazam, yeah, drinking and talking comics can be fun. Nobody judge me for any slurs. I don't drink as much as I used to, and I've been trying to lose weight, so I've been running and being healthy, and slurs will happen. My metabolism is trying to keep up with the running and the eating less, and so beers are going to be like, and this is 9.9%. 903 Brewers, bless you. My final book of the week is Shazam number 12, which is coming from the great Jeff Loveness with art by Brandon Peterson. It is a book that is a one-off. You don't have to read any other Shazam. The Shazam run's been fun, but this Shazam number 12 hit it out of the park. It is a contained story about the morality of being childlike versus childish. It is a contained story about power. It is a contained story with Batman and Shazam. That's the seller. It's Batman and Shazam. I was trying to keep that to the vest, but it's probably in the cover. Batman and Shazam is always a good time because Batman is the definition of stern and Shazam is a literal child in a super body. It is a great team up. I had a lot of fun with this book. Really, really dug it. That is Shazam number 12. You don't have to pick up 1 through 11. You can just read that book. Do check those 4 comics out. Those are my favorite 4 comics from June 3rd. All right. I'm going to pop over to the live chat, see how everyone is doing. We seem to be doing pretty good. Hell yeah, AJ. Dude, let me know what you get from TAVOUR, and let me know what you enjoy. Let's talk about it. I'm really excited to get your opinion, because you and I have very similar tastes in most things. So I'm curious if we have similar tastes in beers. Hit me up. Let me know what you think about that goodness. Travis Earl is drinking THC tea. I respect the hell out of that. Zach, I'm gonna try to go light spoilers. I'm not gonna give away cliffhangers and stuff. But when we're talking comics, I'm gonna try to talk about the gist of where we're going and not give away too much. So that is the plan. AJ, use Coy-10, get $10 off. I'm so happy. Like, truly, of all the discounts I've been given, that has got to be one of those moments of like, yeah, beer discounts. Again, thank you, TAVOUR. Thank you, 903 Brewers. All right, now let's go on to June 10th. Let's dive into what was the second week of June. Now, this is when comics really started picking up this month. Marvel, it seems, is doing an every other week shipment. So June 10th was a DC Marvel Image Everything week, and as such, there are many more books. One of my big books from the week is an Image book. It is a #1. It is a completely different style of book. It is Adventure Man #1. Now, Adventure Man #1 is from... Sorry, Spidey Cat plus beer. The Dotsons. It's from Terry and Rachel Dotson, who are two of my favorite artists in the game. It's a husband and wife team. They are so iconic in their line work, and their colors always sing. Whoever does their colors, I assume they have a similar team. And they... You know the scene in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, the spy scene? That scene is the Dotsons come to life. They just have this amazing liquid flow to their line work, and their characters all have this energy to them, and everyone's just the iconic version themselves. I'm a huge fan of the Dotsons. So when you combine the Dotsons with Matt Fraction, who is a brilliant writer, Matt Fraction is so consistent. Matt Fraction, who's killing it on Sex Criminals, a book I really enjoy, who's also writing, I think is it Jimmy Olsen? I think he's the guy on Jimmy Olsen. We'll get there too. I'm bad at remembering names versus, that's why I don't schmo down, that's why I manage the name retention, especially with beer. That's like drink 27 for those playing at home. This book itself is a book inside a book. It is a mystery pulp Rocketeer-esque telling of a story, and then you go macro and you realize that it is a story within a story. Again, that's not a spoiler, it's in the first few pages. But then things are not what they seem. I love there's a disabled character used very well that doesn't seem like misrepresentation. There's a deaf character, and they show the strengths of that, and they use it in a very interesting way. I love the dynamic. It's a single mom with her kid. My mom was super young when she had me. She wasn't single, but she was very young. So I have a lot of love for like mothers in comic books. And this one is telling a great tale. It's only in issue 1. I think this is going to be a huge book. It is from Image. I would jump on this one very soon because I think this book is going to be one of those like, I wish I'd picked it up when it was only $4. Now it's a $30 book. It came out 3 weeks ago. It is Adventure Man #1. It is from Matt Fraction and the Dotsons. It is from Image, and I highly recommend it. Do check it out. Beer break. It's going to be fun to have guests because they can be drinking, I can be drinking, I can take little pauses, I can drink more. But when you got that 10% beer sweats on week 2, it's going to be a fun show, y'all. All right, next up, we got Batman 92. James Tynion IV continues his glorious run on Batman. I am loving Punchline. I am loving this character. I am loving everything James Tynion IV is doing. If you guys are watching this show, you are probably aware of my other comic book work. I am a huge Tom King Batman fan. I did not know what was going to happen when we finished that Tom King run. I liked the earlier stuff in the run more than the latter stuff, but I don't begrudge the latter stuff. I feel like the pacing in the earlier stuff was more suited to me, but I need to give it some time, go back, read it as a trade, see how I feel about it. But either way, the bar was so impossibly high. Tom King is a genius. He writes Batman so well. One of my favorite arcs of Batman of all time, not just modern. Tom King's Batman is everything to me. So I was worried about James Tynion IV because the bar was too high. This is a different Batman, and it's so good. It's so much fun. Obviously, he's picking up with continuity where Tom King left off. He's using the same numbering system. He's doing all that, but it's nice to have a completely different take on Bruce, so you're not comparing to Tom King's. And this is certainly a different take on Bruce, and it's a lot more villain-centric. Tom King had a lot of really great arcs where it was City of Bane, where it was War of Jokes and Riddles, where it was Double Date, where it was, Bruce versus his dad. This is, it's only in the first arc, but this is all of the villains coming together in the way that only Batman's rogues seem to do, and Flash's. The rogues gallery of Flash and Batman always seem to like get together and conspire, and this story is a fantastic introduction to Batman's rogues gallery. So if you're new to Batman, I'd check this out. If you're new to comic books, Batman is one of the most approachable characters of all time, and I highly recommend this run from James Tynion IV, and it's introducing Punchline, which is going to be the new love interest to the Joker and new nemesis to Harley Quinn. A lot of really cool, not spoilery, things. I'm not going to spoil it because it was exciting. A lot of really cool things happen to a lot of characters you love in this issue. Do check it out. Big fan of where they're going with this book. Next up, Batman, The Adventure Continues. There are 3 Bat books and a Joker book this week alone. Batman killing the game. Batman, The Adventure Continues is the sequel in comic book form to Batman the Animated Series. Now, Batman the Animated Series is probably the best cartoon of all time for me. I own it on Blu-ray. I haven't rewatched nearly enough of it because I've been so busy, but good God, even in quarantine. But I want to real bad. This comic feels like an unseen episode because it is picking up right where they left off. It's written by Paul Dini, who wrote a lot of the show. The art is Ty Templeton, who makes it sing just like he did in the show. If you like Batman the Animated Series, check out Batman The Adventure Continues. Highly recommend it. No one judge me for dramatic pauses due to beer burps. So this is getting a little warmer because I'm talking a lot. Still just as good, but the warmer it gets, the more sweet, the more sugar comes to the forefront. So now in my gums, I kind of have like a blackberry jam situation. I feel like a bear in the woods. Very good. Okay, next up, we've got Batman's Grave #7. Now, I don't know how this is going to go, because this is a Warren Ellis book. I'm not going to comment on all the stuff going on with the individual writers, because I don't know individually any of them, but I will say, whatever is true, fuck that. Believe women, and fuck any predatory or grooming or any abuse of power going on with that. So I don't know any details other than what's on Twitter. I don't have any inside information. I just know that it's what I've read is repulsive, and my heart goes out to any and all the victims that are dealing with being in the limelight for the scariest reason. So so much love to everyone in the comic book community that is not a monster. And all of that said, Warren Ellis, the writer, removing the current events and just speaking of him as a writer with this particular comic book, I am a big fan of the way he writes Batman. So in this particular instance, I'm in love with Batman's Grave. It is an action-packed Bat book. Warren Ellis and Brian Hitch teamed up to make this insane detective story that has just this insane cadence to it. Brian Hitch is getting to draw action like he hasn't gotten to do since the Ultimate line started. Warren Ellis is writing an actual gritty detective story. When they team up, it's fantastic. This was supposed to be a 12-issue miniseries. I don't know if they're going to finish it, because I know they took out Warren Ellis's miniseries stuff on the big death metal, all that jazz. So we will see where this goes. I've really enjoyed issues 1 through 7, but I would rather never read another issue again to not support horrible things happening in the comic industry. So I will leave it at that. But that book is good, and it's a really shitty situation. Over to happier tidings. Jed Knight over on Black Cat #11 is impressing me every single week. I love this Black Cat book. I talk about it as often as anyone will let me talk about it. I think it is consistently one of the sleepers of the week. Jed MacKay, sorry about that, Jed MacKay. And the art by this one is Carlos Vila, and it is... Black Cat is such a fun character that a lot of people just don't take the time to write. She always feels like a trope. She always feels like a one-off. She always feels like Jess' ex-girlfriend or Jess, bad luck powers. They captured the heart of Black Cat in this book. And 11 issues in, I've loved every single one. My favorite issue so far is her having dinner with Batroc the Leaper. There's like a date issue. It's very contained and adorable. But this book itself is so consistent and so rad, and I love the fact that Marvel is still making one-off books like this. This is a rare feat. So Black Cat #11. Over to my pull of the week. My book of the week for the week of June 10th is going to be Daredevil #20. Chip Zdarsky. You scallywag. You genius. You raconteur. I can't sing enough praises for anything Chip Zdarsky writes. Be it Daredevil or Spider-Man or Sex Criminals, which he's on art, he's not writing, or any, like, he's so good at comedy. His life story was incredible. He not only writes comedically well, but he understands the drama of the characters enough that you get so emotionally tied to the version of the character that you believe and the one he presents that all the jokes are so bittersweet and they're so funny when they're just literal. But, like, the books are painful and hilarious, and the inventive narratives, and he's taking all these characters in new ways that have been around for 60 years. Daredevil is not a new character, and this run is an action spectacle every single week, and this book it does not disappoint. Daredevil #20, Chip Zdarsky, thank you for every character you've ever worked on, because you've improved them tenfold, you genius. Okay, over to Excellence #7. Now this one gets a special mention because of its cover. If you guys are fans of the movie Juice, if you've never seen Juice, you should. Juice is so good, stars Tupac. The cover of Juice is super iconic. You'd recognize it from like every Suncoast video. It is Tupac in the foreground, and then the people that are going to betray him, like his Judases in the background. If I'm remembering that movie correctly. And it's this stunning imagery, and they recreated that as the cover for Excellence, and Excellence is about black excellence. It is the perfect book to do that very thing. And then they've got a Tupac reference in the issue, which I love when they do that. It is called Excellence, and it is a book of wizards. It's, imagine if Harry Potter was about black lives and about inner city life, but for adults. So like a more adult Harry Potter. There's magic, there's wizards, but it's modern day-ish, and it involves black culture as much as it does wizard culture. Dope. This book is so good. Check out Excellence. It is over at Image. It is a Skybound book. I was talking about it issue 3 onward over at Skybound. I've done some freelance work for Skybound, so I sung Excellence's praises back then because they had a bunch of cool shirts and hats and stuff. So if you've heard me talk about Excellence, it was probably over there. We did a bunch of cool merch stuff for Excellence, and now the book is back, and it is in fact excellent. All right, over to Joker 80th Anniversary, the second to last book for this week of June 10th. Joker 80th Anniversary is a beast of a book. It is an anthology book with tons and tons of writers and tons of artists. There's, how many different stories is it? It is, I think it's 10 different stories within this book. And the comic itself is, I think, $10. Yeah, it's $10, but it's worth it because each individual story is $1. It's tricky to recommend a $10 book, but this Black Label book is depraved and glorious. It is consistent. There was only 1 out of the 10 stories I didn't love. I loved 9. Liked one of them. The writers, for example, Brian Azzarello, Paul Dini, Dennis O'Neil, Scott Snyder, Tom Taylor, James Tynion IV. Art by Raphael Albuquerque, Lee Bermejo, Simon Bianchi, Tony S. Daniel, Jock, Louis Garcia Lopez, Eduardo Rossi of 100 Bullets fame. Like, what do you want from a book if not that? Joker is such an interesting character. Joker is so versatile. And there's a punchline story in this that I think is going to be hugely important to Batman canon in the future. It is kind of her origin story is told in this Joker book. It is spectacular. Joker is such a diverse character, you can tell 10 different stories and still all be canon, and that's why this book sings. Check out Joker 80th Anniversary. It is a very good time. And it's $10, but it's 10 perfectly placed dollars. Very, very highly recommend it. All right, next up, our final book of the week for June 10th is going to be Kill Lock. Kill Lock I've talked about since it came out because it was a big old surprise for me. Kill Lock is from IDW, and I read as many different titles and publishers as I can, and IDW is one of the publishers I try to discover their new books as they come out, because some of their titles have been running for so long it's hard to catch up. IDW, I read their new stuff when I get a chance, and Kill Lock is my favorite of their new stuff. They're about to do Rob Liefeld's G.I. Joe book, which I'm so excited about. Snake Eyes helped inspire Deadpool, so Rob working on the guy that shaped his guy. Cannot wait to see what that looks like. So IDW, thank you for your work. That said, Kill Lock is from one person. It is from Livio Romandelli. Livio Romandelli writes, illustrates, does the covers, inks, colors, everything in this book, and it is so human while being about robots. This is the Transformers story I always wanted. It is metal as fuck robots. It is super intense. It is super human, and it's about, there's not a person in it. It's like when you watch WALL-E and you're like, how is this so human? There's no people, except this one's metal as fuck. Kill Lock number 5. It's a 6-issue miniseries. Buy it all. Get 1 through 6. I promise you'll dig it. It's real weird. Check out Kill Lock. Highly recommend it. That is my final book for the week of June 10th, and the art is just so pretty. All right, let's see how you live chat folk are doing. Everybody's saying hi. People are, Excellence is dope. Had to fall off comics because budget is tight. Dude, I get it. Believe you me. I totally understand. Thank you, Sahil. I try to curate my shirt collection very specifically. Let's see. Ooh, Wesley, that's a great idea. He says to listen to the score while reading the comic book. That is inspired. It's a great call. All right. Let's see. Anything peanut butter related. Highly recommend. This tastes like peanut butter and jam. Shouldn't be possible, but here we are. Excellent, E. Walter. Dive in. All right. Let's get back to more comic books. Let's see. Over to the week of June 17th. This was another small week. This was very limited DC, no Marvel whatsoever, but this was a very important week for me because June 17th, on the day, June 17th, I got to walk in my comic book store. I got to go in. I got to go inside. I got to smell the newsprint. I got to see half of familiar faces. I got to socially distantly Wi-Fi. It was glorious. I had missed House of Secrets very, very much. I tend to alternate between House of Secrets and Golden Apple. If you're in Los Angeles, House of Secrets is my favorite of the North. Golden Apple is my favorite of the Central. Heidi Ho Comics on the West Side are great people, and P. Comics over in Pasadena if you're an East Sider. Those are my 4 recommendations for comic book stores. House of Secrets is my closest, and I've been there the longest. Golden Apple is where I'm going for my next batch because I love those folks very much. We do comic book shopping over there, and now I can walk to it. So, yeah, sorry. House of Secrets was my closest for 5 years, but now I can walk to Golden Apple, which is lovely. I am moving soon, though, so don't try to stalk me. I got 2 more months, and I'm out of here. I got derailed. Apologies. Beer. Golden Apple is the place I look for back issues, and then House of Secrets is often getting a bunch of back issues and then call me, and that's one of the reasons I like these comic book shops is I collect, so I want to go back and actually search for these old comic books. I'm down to 33 comic books, thanks to the great Max Shorts and Darth Vader. They sent me 2 of the 35 I needed on my other show, Coy-Lection, so I'm always looking for those last 33 at any various comic book store. The point, June 17th, I got to walk back into my comic store for the first time since January. February, I was traveling, which was scary, by the way, because the coronavirus conversation was starting. And then, obviously, they shut down in March. So I hadn't been to my comic book store in January. Now, I get a decent amount of comic books via code and via helping out these companies. But even some of the comics I get for free to read and discuss, I purchase. Because I care about comic book stores and I care about comic books in print. So I go and buy my Amazing Spider-Man, my Deadpool, my Strange Adventures, certain titles. So I hadn't read Amazing Spider-Man in 3 months. Even though the comics had been coming out, I wanted to pick up mine and I wasn't going to pay for comics I already read and I collect them, so I had to go. So I went in the comic book store, I picked up my Deadpool, picked up my Spider-Man, so they made the cut this week. So that was a very long journey to tell you the comics listed here might not have come out that week, but that's when I read them, so that's why they're on this week. Okay. June 17th, I got 5 books I loved very, very much. First up, Afterlift, number 5. This is a Chip Zdarsky book. I like the man. Chip Zdarsky writing for Comixology exclusive. It is a digital-only book. And it is about, how can I get away? It is about an Uber driver who has been tasked with delivering a soul to heaven or hell. So Charon, like the boatman of the River Styx that you learned about mythology, effectively that job but for an Uber driver. So that's why it's called Afterlift, i.e. lift, afterlife. Very funny. And it's got great like religious allegories. It's got great parallels to mythology. It's a fun story. And it's just a good time. It's a good read. So check out Afterlift. It is digital only, but it is a real good time. Chip Zdarsky. Next up, we've got the Amazing Spider-Man 43. Now, this issue counts for 40, 41, 42, and 43, because that's what I read that day. This is Nick Spencer playing around with classic Silver Age characterization and mythology within the Spider-Man universe. He's using characters I haven't seen since the 60s and 70s, and he's been doing a great job making them relevant to today. So Nick Spencer, I'm a big fan of what he's doing with Spider-Man. I wasn't that big of a fan of Slott. I like Slott the person. His Spider-Man just didn't sing with me, so I'm really enjoying this new take with Nick Spencer. I very much think that this will be one that lasts for quite some time, and Ryan Outley on art means the art looks Silver Age and classic while also being very, very true to the character. So this particular arc is only 3 issues, 41, 2, and 3 so far. You can still pick up all those if you'd like. And Nick Spencer's writing the hell out of Spider-Man. So if you're a Spidey fan, right now is a good time to be reading the Spidey books. I saw a super chat pop up. We've got Miranda, ooh, how do you say your last name? Regalado. Miranda Regalado? That's a cool name. I don't know how to say the last one. Hey Coy, sending love from Denver. Thank you so much for showing you Saga. I love it so much. Miranda, welcome. Welcome to Saga. Oh, that makes me so very, very happy. I'm glad you're digging it. I'm glad you loved it as much as I do, because it's such a weird book that when I recommend Saga to everyone, which I am wont to do, there are memes about it on the internet, which make me so proud as well, but it's such a weird book that I'm always afraid, like, ooh, what if that's not their kind of weird? Because everyone's got their own kind of weird, but I find that Saga is a pretty universally weird book for how specifically weird it is. Brian K. Vaughan writes the hell out of weird and makes us all feel like we're on the same weird journey. It's impressive. So I'm so glad you're digging Saga. We are all still in hiatus. I'm going insane, but Brian K. Vaughan and Fiona Staples have changed my life irrevocably. I also read Why the Last Man at the beginning of this quarantine because I thought that'd be fun. What a choice. If you haven't read Y the Last Man, highly recommend that as well. But thank you, Miranda, and your land of Colorado has fantastic beers for craft beers and comic books. TAVOUR, use the code KOI10 to get $10 off after $25. TAVOUR, delicious beer. Seriously though, independent breweries getting love and getting shipped to your door is the coolest. And 903 Brewers, I'm going to write you a lovely, I don't know if there's Yelp for beer, but if there is, I'm going to write a review. Ah, that's good. All right. My final 3 books of the week of June 17th are going to be Deadpool number 5. Again, hadn't read Deadpool in a bit. This was issues 3, 4, and 5 for me, but each got progressively better. I like Kelly Thompson, the writer, a lot. She is fantastic. She is funny. She's invented a lot of my favorite modern characters, especially Landshark. But her Deadpool, it was like very good, but it wasn't excellent for me until issue 5. I don't know what happened in issue 5, but it retroactively made me fall in love with 1 through 4 even more. It was like the pacing caught up, or maybe I was in the right mood for that Deadpool, or whatever it was, but issue 5, I was like, oh, this is why Monster Island is exciting. This is the beautiful metaphor of Deadpool being a monster and loving monsters and wanting to help because he feels like a monster. The love story is cute. Landshark is fantastic. Issue 5 got me. I'm in. It made my top list many weeks, but issue 5 really, really, really cemented this book for me. So highly recommend that over from Kelly Thompson and Chris Pichello, who was one of my favorite Spider-Man and now Deadpool artists. Great, great work. And he's fighting Kraven, so it's got a Spidey feel that I'm really digging. Our next book is going to be my book of this week and my most anticipated book of the year 2020. It was very hard for me when Strange Adventures started in January, and I've been saying since March? No. Since May, since WonderCon, since May of 2019, I said my book of 2020 was Strange Adventures. We finally got an issue in late January, early February, and I loved it, and then the world stopped, and I didn't know what to do. And now we got issue 2, and it's even better than the first. Without giving things away, it is a Mr. Terrific-centric issue that uses the storytelling elements of Doc Shaner and Mitch Gerads' art as separate concepts in a really well-executed way, while also giving you Mr. Terrific's entire sense of being in one issue. That's how I pitch Strange Adventures. And that, like, Adam Strange isn't even in this issue, really. He's in it, but, like, it's a Mr. Terrific issue. So issues 1 and 2, already completely different from each other in wonderful ways, already fascinating, already loving. This book has 2 artists, and they're each drawing a different reality. 1 man writing, 2 men drawing. Fantastic. I love this book so very much. It's about basically the concept of reality, what your reality is versus the reality that's reflected upon you versus how you experience that versus how others experience that. So like how basically in court you can't trust eyewitness testimony because we all have different perceptions. This comic is capturing that concept in comic book form, and it's exceptional. Strange Adventures. It's only in issue 2. It's only in issue 2. You can pick it up. Highly recommend it. It is only going to be 12 issues. It's a contained run. If you've read Vision, if you've read Mr. Miracle, if you've read Tom King's Batman, you know how incredible that man is, plus Mitch Gerads and Doc Shaner. Book of the year for me. All right, our final book of the week is going to be Wonder Woman Dead Earth number 3. This is DC Black Label's Wonder Woman book. This book is dark. It is a post-apocalyptic Wonder Woman who is dealing with the fallout of a lot of horrible choices, both by mankind and mistakes she feels like she's made. It's a mystery book. We uncover more about how the world fell apart as we go along. We see what happened to a lot of these heroes. It has one of the most insane uses of Superman. I'm not going to give anything away, but it's got one of the most insane... After you've read it, tweet me. Let me know what you think of the use of Superman in Wonder Woman Dead Earth number 3. Diana is a powerhouse here. Diana's strength coming from her love of humans, even though humans have disappointed her and disappointed people, is really on display in this book because it's in dystopian future. Humanity has fallen. So her love and humanity is really put to the test in really unique ways, especially in this title. So check out Wonder Woman Dead Earth number 3. It is a Black Label book, and it's also in a really dope format. So it's a really unique book and a really good time. All right, let's go to the chat. All right, we've got Saga single issues, including number 1. 4 issues from Complete Set. Congratulations, Zach Mendoza. That is incredible. I didn't start collecting Saga until way too late, so I actually decided to opt out of even the omnibus and waited for the hardcovers. I have the 3 beautiful hardcover editions. They were actually a gift from Golden Apple. So Golden Apple, again, all the love in my heart to Golden Apple. But They're like $70 books, and I couldn't afford them. So Golden Apple was like, amazing. So those editions of those books mean the world to me, not only because they're a gift, but also because I've told so many people about Saga, and having these coffee table, like, beautifully illustrated and oversized and just stunning editions, it just feels like a complete part of my life. I feel like 2019 was me talking about Saga, so to own them in that condition and in that caliber just feels like a lot. So congratulations, Zach Mendoza, on having an almost full run, because that is a book worth collecting, I'll tell you what. I'm actually torn now if I'm going to collect the single issues when they come back, or if I'm going to wait for the hardcovers to complete it'll be 6, it'll be 3 and 3 after hiatus, so I am very torn as to what to do regarding the glory of Saga, but we got plenty of time, because who knows when hiatus is going to end. I'm going insane. Alright, E. Walter finally dove into Saga earlier this month and loved it. The omnibus was amazing. Hell yeah, more Saga love in the chat. Travis Earl just subscribed to Batman. Should I subscribe to Detective Comics for the whole Joker War saga, or is it mostly in Batman? It looks like it's going to branch out. Joker War, I think, is going to be across multiple titles. I think Batman's going to be, like, the main through line, but I think if you want, like, you know, to experience there's a map. If you look at Joker War online, you'll be able to see all of the titles it'll tap into, and you can kind of decide if you want to invest in the world or if you want to stick to your one title. But no matter what, you're going to get a lot out of just being subscribed to Batman, if that helps. And congratulations on subscribing to Batman. That was a good choice. And then we've got With the Sharks. Does anyone want a great selection of free comics on moving and really want to help some peeps? Dude, With the Sharks. What a saint. Good people. Excellent. I don't know your real name, but I like your call name, and I like what you're doing. I like what you stand for. I respect it. All right. I'm going to dive back into the last week of June. It is a big old week, but With the Sharks, much love. All right. I feel like I should open a second can of beer, but I've been talking a lot. Let me do that. Let me grab beer number 2. And we're back. All right, now this is a name drop, but the story's funnier with the name drop, so I apologize for all the names on the floor. The great Harrison Ford told me when we were talking about journalism, I love that sentence, he said, if there's dead air, it's theirs, referring to journalists. I thanked him for his no bullshit version of interviewing, and I thanked him for not letting bad interviewers get away with being shitty interviewers, because as a host, it is important that hosts have integrity, and they're not doing it just to get on camera. They're doing it because they love the job. So I thanked Harrison Ford for not taking people's shit, and he told me that quote, referring to bad hosting. He said, if there's dead air, it's theirs. And I've thought of that every show since, and I've always held that close to my heart. So the moment I got up to get a beer, and I left you guys to my couch for like 12 seconds, I was like, done fucked up. Harrison Ford's pissed at me. And that's how I feel. Now, let's dive into the second beer of the inaugural, the debut, the pilot episode of Comic Books and Craft Beer. This is the second beer. It is going to be a Mast Landing Gunner's Daughter Milk Stout. Now, this is exactly my shit. I am a stout man. I am a big fan of the flavors herein. It is a beautifully aromatic milk stout with, are you ready for this shit? Are you fucking ready? With bold flavors of peanut butter, coffee, and dark chocolate. Peanut butter, coffee, dark chocolate. I live for and because of those things. Chocolate is my go-to vice. Coffee is what I exist on, from, about, and peanut butter is my main source of protein. Literally, this is me in a can. So thank you, Gunner's Daughter, for this glorious milk stout. This is a 5.5% alcohol by volume. This is 1 pint of stout. So if I had my pint glasses out, this would be poured into a pint glass. I'm moving shortly, so I have no glasses out. So this week I'll be doing this from the can. A future week I might introduce glassware into the equation, but for now, this is the glory of Mast Landing Gunner's Daughter Milk Stout. I am elated. Thank you very much to Mast Landing. Thank you very much to the good people at TAVOUR. Use code KOI10 to get $10 off after you spend $25 at the TAVOUR app. All right. Are you ready? I'm ready. Ooh, it smells stouty. It's got like a, not quite Guinness, not quite Murphy's, something in between the dark coffee aroma of those two bad Larrys. Oh, I might like this one. Yeah, this is my exact shit. It's impossibly smooth. The peanut butter comes with the second sip. I didn't taste it the first. The coffee is very aware. Like, the coffee's right up there at the front. It tastes like a nitro cold brew with chocolate in it. And then your second sip is that plus peanut butter. And I fear, knowing this beer exists, because my life's changed. Oh. Oh no. I love this. TAVOUR. Mass Landing. Please, please, please send me all of this you have. Send me all of the Gunner's Daughter you have. Guys, the rest of my shows are canceled. We're only doing drinking shows from now on. Even my fitness shit. I'm going to be drinking this and run. Don't recommend that. Oh, I'm in love. Okay. Let's talk about comics. Oh, I don't want to put it down. I can't part with this. Okay, let's talk about comics. I'm in love. Okay, June 24th, 2020. It was a crazy week. It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. It was actually the worst of times. It was the week we got glorious comics to let us escape into a world that wasn't our own, because our own only had good beer to offer. The rest, shite. Let's talk about these comics. June 24th, Ant-Man, number 5. It came out the week before, but it was a digital-only release. I'd been picking up Ant-Man in print, because this Ant-Man run was exceptional. Zeb Wells. Ooh, the stout's burpy. Pardon me. Zeb Wells doing really great work on Ant-Man. He was made to write this character, and frankly, I was super impressed from the beginning with how funny this book was, how inventive it was. It used Swarm in really interesting new ways. It also, and Swarm is such a funny character, and I hadn't seen him in a long time. It also knew the tone of Scott Lang. Some people write Ant-Man and they don't quite get Scott, and this Scott Lang book is exceptional. It is only a 5-issue miniseries. It was supposed to come out in print. Now issues 1 through 3 or 1 through 4 came out in print, and then issue 5 was digital only, and then they collect it all as a trade. I'd wait for the trade. I'm a little bummed because I'm a print man, but issue number 5 came out and I loved it. It is funny, it is heartfelt. The relationship between Scott and his daughter is amazing. Very good work from Zeb Wells, a very quality book. I meant to pull up names and artists for each of these books, but I forgot to open previews, so I've just been remembering them as I go, and so far, we've done okay. The only one I've looked up is Joker 80th Anniversary. If I said someone was wrong, or if I mispronounced, I apologize. This is off of beer memory. Batman 93, just talked about Batman 92. James Tynion IV doing the work. This issue, very action-packed, very intense. Big old, not twist, big old moment at the end. Twists in the middle, moment at the end. Big, big book. Gonna be a collector's item. Big fan of this Batman run. Alright, next up, we've got Batman the Smile Killer. Now, this is cool, man. Batman the Smile Killer is a one-off sequel to Batman Killer Smile. Batman Killer Smile is a 5-issue miniseries from DC Black Label that dealt with Joker breaking the mind of his therapist, and it brings you in really messed up places. The book itself is a masterwork of psychology. I love that book. I love that mini. Now, the team behind Joker Killer Smile teamed up to make a one-off where they are in that same universe and Batman is more involved. Joker Killer Smile doesn't involve Batman. Joker Smile Killer is a one-off. You only need to really read this one issue. It's better if you've read the miniseries, because then you'll appreciate the therapist character more. But even if you've never read anything of this world, you'll still appreciate this one-off. So if you want to read a single Batman title, I highly recommend this singular Joker book, because it is a weird good time. Also, that Joker book from 2 weeks ago, you can read those both pretty independently and have a really good run with it. The Smile Killer, however, is from... See, as soon as I mentioned not having notes in front of me, I forgot. I think it's Andrew Sorrentino. Can't find it. But Smile Killer is the only book of that title, and it's incredible, and it's really well illustrated, really well written, really good dabbling in psychology while also making you feel insane. It is a solid book. Next up, we've got Captain America Marvel Snapshot #1. Now, I love these Marvel Snapshot books because they encapsulate the character while also introducing you to brand new writers, brand new artists, people you might not know. These one-shots often let artists and writers play with characters they wouldn't normally get to play with because it's just a oneer. This book is a fantastic story about a down-on-his-luck kid caught in a bad neighborhood dealing with the ramifications of Captain America. Captain America's barely involved, and this poor kid is an inventor, and basically his parents can't afford to put him through college, so he joins AIM. So advanced idea mechanics from a totally different perspective. It's a really cool take, and Captain America is like, he's important to the story, but it's not a Captain America story, and I really dug this one shot. So check that out if you want to read a book about the other side of AIM and a really cool heartfelt tale in the world of Captain America. Next up, we've got Empire Avengers #0. This was my surprise of the week because I usually don't love the Kree Skrull stuff. I'm not as big Cosmic Marvel as I am Down to Earth Marvel personally. It's just my taste. The cosmic stuff just doesn't appeal to me as much. I like my characters more earthbound. I like Spider-Man when he's friendly neighborhood more than when he's in an iron suit. Just my take. But this book, it's Al Ewing who's writing the Immortal Hulk, who consistently blows my mind. Of course he's going to be the one to have me invest in the Kree Skrull War. This book is so good and so interesting. It's only on issue 0. It's just beginning. This launches the big summer event from Marvel. Check out Empire Avengers #0, aka Avengers Empire #0. See it build both ways. Either way, a damn good time, a damn good book. Beautiful art, and it's big. The scope of this book is great. What really sold me was its personification of Iron Man. Iron Man in this book feels like Iron Man in a way that I haven't read in a bit. All right, next up, Green Lantern 80th anniversary. We talked about the Joker 80th anniversary earlier in the show. Green Lantern 80th anniversary is likewise an anthology of different Green Lantern stories, but each story is a different Green Lantern. So John Stewart gets his time to shine. My boy Kyle Rayner gets his time to shine. There's a Hal Jordan story. All of the mainstream Green Lanterns, Guy Gardner, who I haven't read a Guy Gardner story in years, all of them get glorious arcs. They get their own stories. It is a fun anthology book. If you're a Green Lantern fan, absolutely recommend it. This week had like 30 books, so there's like 10 here that I loved. Out of the 30, 10 made my holy crap, you gotta pick these up cut. Next up, Ghost Spider #10. This book ended abruptly, so I'm not gonna give anything away, but the book ends like there should be more. I don't know if this book got canceled mid-run. I don't know what happened at Marvel, but Ghost Spider's been a fantastic book, and the end of the book's like, well, we'll see Ghost Spider sometime. And you're like, what? And there's literally no Ghost Spider 11 coming out. I don't know what's going on with Ghost Spider, but this is one of those books I was like, but I was just reading a series. We'll see. Ghost Spider's fantastic. Love Spider-Gwen. Didn't expect to. I'm one of those Gwen Stacy needs to stay dead forever folk. I think that Uncle Ben and Gwen Stacy, the only two characters that actually stay dead. But alternate universe Gwen actually worked for me as Spider-Gwen. I'm a fan. So Ghost Spider 10, I guess, is the end of the run. Who knows? Next up, we've got Immortal Hulk 34. Immortal Hulk is from Al Ewing. I've been singing this book's praises for 3 years now, and I can't say enough about its writing is so exceptional that it turns pulpy noir horror concepts on their head in modern political ways while also subverting your expectations of the comic book genre and reinventing the Hulk. It is brilliant. Check out Immortal Hulk. This one introduces a new take iteration version of the leader. So you can actually probably jump on issue 34 and kind of get your ground to stand on to know what's going on. It kicks off a new arc with 34. So Immortal Hulk, brilliant. I'd started issue 1. It's the best Hulk, I think, since Peter David's, maybe earlier. It's a damn good time. Next up, John Constantine, Hellblazer #7. We already talked about this book. This is, oh shit! Issue 1 through 6 is an arc. That makes way more sense. I thought issue 5, 6, and 7 were... Doesn't matter. Earlier I said that was the beginning of a new arc. This is the one that kicks off the new arc. Usually it is 6-issue runs. I was confused. Issue 7 kicks off a new arc. I already talked about it earlier in the show. It's good. Rewind for my thoughts on Hellblazer. Next up, we've got Plunge #4. This is from Joe Hill. Stephen King's son knows his horror because he's Stephen King's son, but he also knows his comics. He is such an incredible comic book writer. He did Lock and Key. He's doing an entire Hill House line over at DC Comics. They're all horror-based. I'm not usually a horror comic man, but I'm loving all of these. At Comic-Con last year, almost a year ago, which breaks my heart, Joe Hill and I sat down and talked about this entire Hill House line, and Joe's fantastic. He's a good dude, and he pitched me these books, and they're even better than his pitch, and that's saying something because that man is a storyteller through and through. This particular one is about a team on a scavenging mission that's a rescue boat. They're trying to save what they can off this island, and the inhabitants of the island should have died 60 years ago, but instead they're not zombies, but they're not quite alive either, and it all involves math. And as a math junkie, zombie plus math plus Joe Hill, yes, Plunge is amongst my favorite of the Hill House line. It's also drawn by, what's his name, Mike Deodato. And Mike Deodato, his line work is just exceptional every time. So check out Plunge. It's only on issue 4. And all the Hill House stuff is pretty consistently great. All right, next up, Sex Criminals number 29, drawn by Chip Zdarsky, illustrated by Chip Zdarsky, written by Matt Fraction. This is the dirtiest book I've read in a long time. It is about characters that when they bone, they realize they have powers upon orgasm. Two of the characters, our leads, realize when they do that, they freeze time together and they rob banks. Because what are you going to do with them boning powers but rob some banks? Things only get weirder from there. This book is kinky, this book is strange, this book is perverse, this book is my shit. And also the illustrations in the background from Chip Zdarsky. There's so many visual jokes in this book that are amazing. Highly recommend if you're a mature reader. Sex Criminals. If you're over 21, read it while drinking this delicious, there's the label, Masked Landing, Gunner's Daughter, and read some Sex Criminals, over 21. It's a good book, and it's a very different kind of book. It's good to mix up the cape stuff with some other weird shit. All right, next up, speaking of weird shit, Spider-Ham. That's right, Peter Porker Spider-Ham is ending a new miniseries. They gave him a 5-issue run over at Marvel, and it is as meta as you want, and it is as strange as you need, and Kang's in it, and there's a lot of dimension jumping, and there are so many animal puns, and it's delightful. Check out Spider-Ham. If you like a good animal pun, there is no better book for you. All right, our final 3 books of the show, of the month, of right now, we've got Suicide Squad number 6. Tom Taylor is throwing all the rules out the window. Suicide Squad is already a book about characters that die, and Suicide Squad goes there with Tom Taylor. This guy is so good at pulling your heartstrings. He is up there with Chip Zdarsky for me for writing characters that I'm like, you're so funny, oh, you broke my heart. Tom Taylor. He wrote the incredible X-23 run called All New Wolverine. The All New Wolverine stuff is some of my favorite Wolverine writing ever, and it gave me a literal Wolverine. It gave me an entire family of characters around X-23 that I love. Tom Taylor can do no wrong, and this Suicide Squad is great. Thor number 5, my book of this week, my book of the final week of June is Thor number 5. Donny Cates, Nick Klein, a book so metal, sometimes I read it out loud just to hear the language. Not kidding, it's a weird thing I do. This book is incredible. This book is Shakespearean. This book is scope personified in a god. This book keeps surprising me, and I have not been disappointed, and this is following Jason Aaron's 7-year run. No one has written more Thor than Jason Aaron, and Donny Cates is following that with one of the best Thor arcs I've ever experienced, and he's just getting warmed up. I am in love with Donny Cates' Thor. Nick Klein has drawn the hell out of it. Nick Klein I love from Deadpool, and he's even better on Thor. This book's exceptional. And to close us out, Jason Aaron himself, Valkyrie, Jane Foster, Valkyrie. Jane Foster has been Thor. Jane Foster has beaten cancer. Jane Foster has been a doctor. Jane Foster is Natalie Portman, and now she is Valkyrie. This book is fantastic because it deals with both Greek mythology and religion while, again, balancing superhero tropes, but the art is so good and the writing is so good, and you're getting a Jane Foster's perspective on these characters. So you're seeing it from someone that was once human that experienced this, now has these powers, and it adds another whole element to it. And I love the character Jane. So Valkyrie's an exceptional book. It's from Jason Aaron. If you're a big fan of Jason Aaron's Thor, highly recommend you check out his Valkyrie. And those are all of the books that I think are must-reads for the month of June. June was an incredible month in comics. That is 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 33 comics briefly reviewed. That is the entire month of June. Those are my favorite 33 comics I read out of the couple hundred I read. And this was fun. Comic books and craft beer. Again, this was thanks to TAVOUR, who is an app that sent me a bouquet of different beers from all sorts of independent breweries. They're from all over the country, and you're supporting actual people. Independent breweries are individuals, they're small businesses, and if you like beer, that's a win-win scenario. Check out TAVOUR, use code COY10, COY10 to get $10 off after you spend $25 on all of this dope beer. I've only tried 2 so far, and I'm so happy that fridge has more beer in it. I'm not going to have any more tonight because I have an early morning, but I'm excited to keep doing the show because we get to keep trying new beer. Next week, I have potentially 2 guests. I'm only going to do 1 guest at a time, but we have 2 guests lined up, so schedule permitting, one of them will work out. We have a guest for next week, and we'll be talking about Saga. Either one of these 2 guests are incredible women. They are very creative, very well-spoken, very rad in their industry. Both of them are incredible to talk with, and both love Saga like nobody's business. So we might end up doing 2 Saga in a row, and I'd love to get multiple perspectives on Saga. We might end up doing 1 week Saga, 1 week comics for the first part of July. Who knows? But this will be the show. It's going to be comic books. It's going to be craft beer. It's going to be conversations. I hope you guys dug this. It's a way to kind of bring some like beer back into my Friday night, so I wanted to mix it up and add some comics to that. I'm going to check the chat, see how we're doing. All right, live chat. Let's see. We only lost, we maintained the same within 5 viewership. So y'all that were here seem to dig it, which is reassuring because it's a strange concept for a show. All right. Let's see. Scrolling back up. Ian is going to start collecting Saga. Hell yeah. Doug, nothing sounds bad after the great Harrison Ford told me. Dude, the fact that I can hear his voice in his head talking to me, surreal. All right, Han is judging me. I feel it, I actually do. But I feel like when he's judging me, he's either like what lies beneath Harrison or he's Indiana Jones Harrison. I feel like Han is so judgmental just because he's such a nerf herder. He's such a scoffy guy that like I gotta see another one or it hurts too bad. All right. Let's see. Dr. Nitrogen, Detective Comics 1022 is part of the build-up. That's correct. Check out that map. That'll help you out. You can see what you should read, could read, will need to read. All right. If you're LA local, if you can get to the Santa Clarita area, look up Brave New World. They take donations for LA Book Truck nonprofit. That is cool, Zach. Thank you for sharing that information. All right. Let's see. With the Sharks is in Florida. Dude, so cool. I'm glad you guys are enjoying my beer commentary. Let's see. I am 2 beers in, and I've got a decent buzz because I don't drink like I used to. How do I feel about the Joker 93 color? Joker with the gun in the theater seems like a weird decision to make. He's a bad guy. He's a Joker. I don't know. It doesn't. I wouldn't have thought of it because Joker has a gun often, and I don't know. It doesn't affect me negatively. I know. People put the connotation on that horrible event that happened, but I never saw him. He had orange hair and stuff, and I to my knowledge, it was a lot of sensationalized media that turned it into the Joker. But it was during a Batman showing, so I get all that. I didn't connect that personally. Let's see. Fake Cat does like the beer. He's with me. Let's see. Jane Foster's Australian for Valkyrie. That is an excellent joke. I support that joke very much. Let's see. $3.99, not too bad at all. Hell yeah. All right, people are talking about yes. Kill Lock Run, all of it, top to bottom, incredible. Loved it. Scroll back 10 minutes, you'll see my whole rant about it. Loved that run. Made a fan of me for that writer artist forever. I'll be looking at what he does next. All right, and people are happy. All right, the short review is positive, so I will take that positivity as we wrap out this show. My mom says don't drink as much as Younger Coy. Younger Coy survived Boston with the sauce, and frankly, he won't survive California that way. There's too much to do. I'm too busy to drink like I used to. It takes time. It's work. Drinking like I used to is a job, and I got too many jobs. All right. From me to you, this has been Comic Books and Craft Beer. This has been brought to you by TAVOUR. Use code COY10. This is thanks to the good folks at Mast Landing and 905 Brewery. This has been our pilot episode, so this is the one where I'm going to need to see those comments, those likes, those retweets, all the shenanigans. This is the one so I know whether or not this worked. I will be trying a new format or the alternating format with a guest next week. I'm very excited to do that. Also, next week on Friday, we are going to be doing a watch-along of Fight Club. That's right, Michael McCarsell, the great Michael McCarsell, who is the patron tier of watch-alongs. He is a part of the Patreon tier that picks the watch-along with me. He and I have decided on Fight Club, so it's great. Like, I'm really excited because I can do my research on Fight Club because I know that movie really well, and doing the watch-along, I won't feel like I need to collaborate on the watch-along because otherwise it's just me watching the movie with you guys. So it's cool to do something that I can give some input and you guys can experience the movie in a new way. And that is going to be Fight Club next week. So this will either be earlier or later because we're going to do Fight Club as well. That is next Friday. I'll be back on Tuesday for the usual Coy Cubed. This is the Sister Soda Coy Cubed. CB squared. There's probably going to be a little lighter on the comic books in Coy Cube just because we keep running out of time. I'll absolutely give my pull list, but comic reviews are going to live right here because we can dive deeper into it. So this Friday show is going to be comic reviews, probably from the Wednesday before. That gives me a couple days to read everything. And then Coy Cubed is going to be news, both real world and nonfiction. And then, of course, my Coy-lection videos will be back probably in a couple weeks. I'm going to try to do, it's going to turn into daily shows, guys. We're having a whole Coy empire of content, coin-tent. When I start running out of puns, I guess, I'll stop making shows. When I run out of puns, we're done. Until then, guys, thank you very, very much. Y'all mean the world to me. I will see you Tuesday. And then podcast drops Wednesday. More stuff coming. Have a great weekend. Stay safe. Stay sane. Stay hydrated. Drink some beers. Read some comics. Repeat. Love you guys. I'll see you soon.